Welcome back to the show, another episode of the Breadwinning Business Women show. And I have a special guest with me today, a dear friend who we're going to talk about self-care as business owners. So let me just introduce her. Sherina Hill is a personal coach, speaker, and founder of Sherina Hill Coaching. For the last 7 years in her boutique coaching practice, she's helped high achievers and entrepreneurs stop underperforming and creating more meaning and more money in their lives. Welcome to the show, Sherina.
Hi, I am so glad to be here and so happy to see your face.
I know, right? We're
It's
always
been a
talking,
while.
yes, but never face to face. So this is so good. So let's jump right in. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit more about your business and kind of what you're doing on the day-to-day with your clients?
Yeah, so in my coaching practice, well, first of all, I just have to say I love the humans. I can't start any conversation without saying how much I love my people, my humans. I love getting to know people. And so in my coaching practice, I get to really get to know my clients on a deep level. As I said, I have this boutique coaching practice, I like to call it, but I really work with them a lot on emotional intelligence, on their how they're showing up, and also just really working on creating that deep level of certainty, that self-trust that helps them align with the actions that's going to help them create what they want. Because I don't know if you all have noticed, but we we tend to copy other people. We don't even know we're copying. Like we don't we don't even know that we're emulating somebody else. And there's a lot to emulate with social media and on TV. And so oftentimes when we're emulating, that's when we have a lot of failure that starts to happening because that's not really in alignment with what we want in the first place. So anyway, I but I work with my clients on just really getting more into what they want, and then success is a lot easier when you're already doing something that resonates with you versus accidentally copying what somebody else is doing, because people do what people see. It's just science. And so just coming back to like, oh, this is what I really want, and having that emotional awareness before you invest in this thing that's not even in alignment with you in the first place. um it's some it really helps to prevent things from happening in the first place instead of having to clean them up on the back end. So but you look like you're about to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was about to say that's really amazing, but I would think that working with high performers is a pretty intense work. So like how many hours per week are you putting in your business?
Yeah, so my business is really organic and crazy, y'all. I just got to tell y'all that. So I currently work about 5 hours in my business coaching clients. Over the last, I've been in business 7 years. The first couple of years, I really didn't know what I was doing at all. I wasn't playing around, but I didn't know the business part. But for the last couple of years, I've made over six figures each year. But the magic has been each year I have been able to make that same amount without serving the same amount of clients. So, in other words, like, in the beginning, you're hustling, and to make the money, and then you keep hustling. Well, I've been able to work less and keep my revenue the same for the past 3 years. So, for me, that was essential because I'm a mom. I have two small children that are school aged. I ended up homeschooling my kids during COVID. I lost my grandmother and was in charge of her care, and that was a lot. So I really valued having more personal time for my life than yeah, I wanted my business to fit into my life, and that has been my main focus, because I have a background in healthcare. And so it always perplexed me how being in healthcare, we are givers, but we give at the sacrifice of our family and our holidays. So in coaching, I didn't want to repeat that. I wanted to make my business fit into my life so I could be the type of mom I wanted to be, and be the type of wife I wanted to be. I wanted to be able to take care of me. I have a healthcare background. I want to keep my health in balance, and, you know, taper back when I need to taper back, and not live in stress and at the effect of life. And so my coaching practice has organically um just worked with my vision. I like to say it like that. My business worked with my vision that I wanted with my life. And so my high performers are very intense people. I coach a lot of men, and I coach a lot of women who are wanting to grow and not have their businesses plateau. They want to keep going. And so my presence of mind, my state of being, my own emotional intelligence can offer a trusting, safe place for them to just wild it out, like just do all the things. And so I think if I was much more intense and like da 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 da, you know, it may not be the same type of experience for my clients as I would like for it to be. Um, Not as conducive for what we're both trying to create. Um, so I'm grateful that I've been able to create this in my life, especially with my kiddos. And I have my oldest is 36 and my youngest is almost 12 now. So I have these huge brackets, and I have to parent each person different. Sometimes I treat the 36-year-old like he's 12, and sometimes I treat the 12-year-old like they're 30, but just trying to keep myself centered allows me to meet the demands of whatever reality is asking of me in the moment. So
Mm. So you're spending about 5 hours a week on client work, which sounds pretty amazing. Are you also spending other hours per week in other areas of your business?
So, one of the things that I have been spending a lot of time in recently is content creation. And I was asking myself about this last night because I have been able to create a lot of content over the years, and then all of a sudden I just stopped. So I have had to give more time in that area because I realized that it wasn't coming as easily as it has been in the past for me. So I've been really just giving myself space, and like probably like 2 hours a day, just play with content ideas, and who's my person, what am I doing with them, just allowing myself to really baptize myself into that again and reacclimate myself to, am I going to do reels, am I going to do this? So I have been investing more time in that recently to find something that feels organic to me.
Okay, what do you think you spend total on your business between 5 hours of client work and then the rest of the time in
uh,
your content or marketing?
Probably I mean, I feel so ashamed to add up the numbers. I feel shame washing over me, but probably, I mean, maybe 15 hours a week. I mean, because my P&L, like my account, I have an accountant, and that's pretty simple. Like I don't have to do anything with that really. And my content creation, I think that's my area of growth right now. But for me to coach my clients is effortless. Like I don't have to think about that. Um, I'm just in the moment with my clients then. So I mean, less than 12 hours a week. I mean, like really, I can't If I spend more than that, it's because I'm spending out on about something. It's like I'm like, oh, well, it's not, I'm not really working. I'm more spinning out. So, but
So what would you say to other women, business owners who would like to have a 12-hour a week business and still be able to make, six figures in revenue? Like, what advice would you give to them in terms of being able to sort of stream down their work or not
yeah,
have to work so much?
yeah. Well, first of all, it's important for you to know that it's possible. Um, Coming from healthcare, I never would have ever thought that I could work so little and make more than I did in healthcare. I mean, and I was a healthcare leader, I was an administrator, I have a degree in nursing, I was director of nurses, and you're working like a lot of hours. And so I think, first of all, you have to know that it's possible. Um, Also, you have to know what you want for your whole life, not just money. Like, you want, again, like, if you could have your business fit into your life, what would that look like to you? And why would you want to do that in the first place? I know for me, coming up as a kid, all I thought about was, oh, I'm going to work, I'm going to have all this money. So working was the main thing. Um, but again, I don't think I said this, but I worked in long-term care. I ran a nursing home, the same one, for almost 10 years. So I saw a lot of people who all they did was work all the time, but at the end of their life, it wasn't so great.
Mm.
So I think that's why I unconsciously, have created my business the way it is. So you have to know that it's possible. You have to decide what you want your life to be and what can I do that will help me create revenue and have the life I want. And I totally wanted to be present for my little babies because I was a single mom the first time and I had to work, I had to clock in when they told me to clock in. So, so deciding what you want for your life and also investing in yourself because it makes me think about this quote from Jim Rohn. His last name is Hohn. I mean Rohn. Sorry about that. But Jim Rohn has a quote that says, "A formal education will make you a living, but self-knowledge, self-education will make you a fortune."
Mm.
And so I have really invested a lot of times in learning things that I was naturally passionate about, but not in a formal way. You know, um, I love education, but there's a difference between studying something because you have to and learning something because you want to. And what you want to learn is going to always lead to more passion and more prosperity in your life. And so I have baptized myself in all the things that I love because I believe I can have what I love. I want a life that I love. I want a marriage that I love. I want kids that I invest in and spend time with. And so having that alignment in my life allows me to be more congruent in what I'm producing in my life. And I also think just being around people that are doing what you want to do in your life is so important because again, by default, we people do what people see. We innately copy people. Like that's how we learn how to walk, that's how we learn how to talk, that's how we drink moonshine. I mean, I'm not really drinking moonshine, but this glass reminds me of moonshine, right? Uh, but but if we know inherently, innately, we copy other people, you want to use that to your advantage. You want to leverage that. If you copy other people, then who do you want to copy? Like, who do you want to, because your mind is automatically going to do that by default. You're going to pick up what other people are putting down if you're in that environment. So um that's super, super important. And let me think of one more thing because oh yeah, and also just remembering, like I go back to the scripture and I'm going to misquote it. So,
Okay.
don't throw Christian shade at me, okay? Is that a thing, Christian shade? But I believe in prospering as my soul prospers. Again, I don't want to have so much money and be totally unhappy, like, or so much money and be unhealthy, or so much money and be stressed out. I want my soul to prosper, and so I can grow and become the person that can have the money and hold it, or have prosperity and hold it, and thrive as a result of it. I don't want anything to come to me before I can really appreciate it and have it add value to my life, because um I think the main thing first is for us to be the person that can create it and maintain it and not drown because of it. And knowing that it's possible to not drown, make the drowning optional, I
Yeah.
think is very, very important. Especially like if even if you don't have kids, even if you're not married, you matter. Like you matter, what you matter, your dreams matter. Like the experience you have in your body matters. Like your experience of your life matters. The beauty that's around you matters. And drowning or suffering to me is optional. Like that's not a part of the design that God has for me. That's my opinion for me. So that's how I try to live my life. If I start to suffer, it's like this: if it hurts, you're doing it wrong. That's what I'm thinking. If it hurts, you're doing it wrong. Like something ain't right. So when I get to the place where I'm suffering, I'm like, no, this isn't right. This isn't, you need to change something. So I used to tell my husband this all the time, and I still do, that God wants me happy. God wants Sherina happy, because when Sherina's happy, she can help more people, because no matter what, I'm gonna be what I am in that moment, whether I'm hateful and ratchet and crazy, or if I'm happy and whatever I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be. So I like to say God wants me to be happy. So
Yeah, I love that. It's so good.
mhm.
So tell me about this idea of decreasing your clients year after year, but
Yeah.
still having your income, be in the six figures. Like, was that raising your prices? I mean, what was the
Yeah.
strategy behind that?
Well, the strategy, well, it's so funny. So, how it initially happened was I just organically, like when I'm with a client, I'm just with my clients, like totally with them. And then every I do 6 months coaching packages, so I always evaluate the before and after with each client, and I look at the results and the value that I gave, what we co-created together in the coaching container. And so once I was able to see the value that I was creating, I raised my prices, and raising my prices was not even an issue. Like I have even had clients that I raised my prices with them, and they were like, yeah, like I see the value, I don't care, like I'll pay. So I didn't just raise my prices with new people coming in. I raised my prices with my current clients, and for me it was a no-brainer, because I think in the coaching industry, like we are a different type of person if you're in the coaching world. And I'm really all about abundance. And like, take for instance, my all three of my children were natural. um and my daughter was a water birth, and I wanted my son to be a water birth, but we didn't make it in time for he was born within 45 minutes, so they didn't have time to fill up the pool for me. but I liken that to coaching. There's nothing wrong with how you want to have your baby. You can have a C-section, you can have Pitocin, you can be induced, whatever you want to do. Like you can have a baby any kind of way you want. But each way that you do it tells you a little bit about the person. If you want an epidural, you don't want to feel any pain. That's for the person who doesn't want to experience any pain. Me, I wanted to experience it, but I wanted to be in water. I wanted to be a certain type of way. So each version of the person, you know, like they're going to do things in alignment for what they want to experience. So in the coaching world, like again, I was in nursing, I was in healthcare. It's totally different than coaching, but coaching to me is like when you're in the coaching industry, your mindset is focused on creating abundance in the world, helping people, serving people, and you live your life in I mean, at least for me, in a very future focused
Mhm.
prosperity way. I'm thinking about the future. I'm thinking about what this moment has for me to learn, and I'm totally believing that what I put in is nothing compared to what's going to come out. Like I'm going to plant this seed and I'm going to have apples and apples and apples from this one little seed. So that's how I think about coaching. And when I'm with my clients, I'm looking at them holistically, everything, and I'm looking for that one thing, that one little thing, that if we do this, it's going to have them create apples and apples and apples and apples. And so after evaluating our time together for 6 months, like I'm like, okay, well, we created this much apples, so therefore I am bringing a lot of value, and the price is a no-brainer. Like whatever the investment is, it's not even an issue, because on the back end there's so much value on the back end. And my clients are very abundant minded people as well. They are um, a lot of them are entrepreneurs, professors, speech pathologists. It's not really, I'm finding it's not really what their occupation is as so much as their mindset.
Mhm.
And so because I am such an abundant thinker, I attract a lot of abundant people, and they want to bring and add more value into the marketplace or into the world, or in their families. And so I mean, money's just a tool. We don't see it as this thing that we have to bow down to or whatever. It doesn't define us. It's something we get to use. And sometimes we plant seeds and they don't harvest, and sometimes we plant and we make up for the last 10 years. So I don't know if I answered your question. Did I answer your
Yes,
question?
so you're saying that the pricing was really the way that you were able to like
That was the
help
question.
people. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
really help
yeah.
people to see the
Absolutely.
value.
The pricing. Yeah, the pricing was the way.
So what
Absolutely.
did you change your price from to?
So I have had a lot of different prices. Okay, I'm going to tell y'all my very first price.
Okay.
My very first price was $250 a month. That was the very first um price that I charged. $250 a month. It wasn't 6 months. It wasn't anything. It was $250 a month. And I currently charge 10K for 6 months or 20K for 6 months, depending on what the individual wants. So I have went 250 to maximum 20K packages for six
Yeah.
months. Yeah.
And what was that like in terms of like shifting your mindset to think like I could have this high ticket offer and be able to charge, 10 or $20,000 for my coaching services?
Well, it wasn't intentional, I have to say. It was literally we start here, we end up here. How much would I pay for this?
Hmm.
I wasn't, I didn't even know it was even called a high ticket offer. Like literally, I didn't know. Um, I just was like, well, this is how much value I bring. I mean, like literally. But my mindset was once I understood, once I got out of my employee mindset and a very corporate mindset, because I had worked in direct care, and then I had became a director of nurses, and then a nursing home administrator and a corporate nurse. You're still like a middle manager kind of, and someone is telling you what your value is. Like you're a salaried employee, and you're worth this, and you may get a bonus at the end of the year for your profit and losses and da 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 da. Excuse me. But um so understanding that I am now the CEO, it's my company, um and realizing the value that is created. Okay, like for instance in healthcare, there's value created in healthcare, but the owner gets most of the money, and you are a tool to help the owner get the most, right? Like that's pretty much it. I mean, hate to say it, but it's true. So the owner it might be a corporation, a hospital company, or it may be an owner of a skilled nursing facility, but the owner is there. They are going to get um most of the profit, like there's a salary and there's a profit. And I just wanted to just eliminate, once I understood that I was not an employee, that I am a business owner, and there's no filter, there's no, I have to pay 20 employees before, it was just me. It's a one woman show. And and then I understood the value and what in my product comes from the end, like at the end you get this. How much is it worth? If this is what you get, how much is that worth in the beginning? What are you willing to invest? And so once I shifted my thinking around that, I'm like, well, how much is it worth to be healthy? It's I mean, it's it's invaluable. Like you can't put a price tag on that. And and I think that, like, even if you took medicine, like I know a lot of people will not buy organic, or not buy this because of the cost. But if you knew how much medicine was going to be on the back end, if you knew it would be $500 a month for a blood pressure pill, would you rather spend $500 a month on blood pressure meds for the rest of your life? Or would you rather eat vegetables and whatever now,
Yeah.
like, like which, I don't, like which would you rather do, so I think once I understood the value that I was bringing to the marketplace, um and again, doing those 6 months assessments, because I mean, I have a nursing background. I'm used to doing assessments like before and afters, like, because if I give a patient a Tylenol for a headache and the headache doesn't go away, the Tylenol didn't work. And coaching, if I do something and it doesn't work, well, I didn't give the client the right thing. I want to give them the thing that's going to help them achieve the result. So if I give you the result, then, and because I'm a type A person, like I want an A+ on everything. So so if I'm able to give you the result, what's the value of you having that result?
Yeah.
And so just gradually, once I understood, I wasn't an hourly like employee. I and in the beginning I saw myself as an hourly employee. Like, okay, 250 a month, like divide that by 4 sessions, like that's how I was doing the numbers. I was literally doing math and from an employee mindset, which is nothing's wrong with that. That's, you are an employee, but understanding what I was, the world that I was in, you know, like, okay, this is the value that I'm bringing and they're creating this, like really, like, do you still want to keep charging $250 a month? Like, you can if you want to, but why would you? Like, I don't, I, and I think again, it goes back to when your mindset is in a certain place. Like, my mindset was, I want to have a natural birth. I want to be in water, I don't want a bunch of IVs. Once my mindset was there, then I attracted that in my life. Like, that's what I wanted. You know, this, I don't care how much it costs. I don't care what we have to do. This is the birth experience I want to have. And so just totally embodying my business, the value I was bringing, and the type of clients I wanted to attract and work with, and being that for myself as well, because I've paid coaches, and whenever I'm making a purchase, I'm thinking about what I'm going to get on the back end. I'm thinking about the return on my investment every single time. So I have no problems with making an investment because I know the return. Like, so um
You bring up a good point. I want to talk about this idea of, because you talk about your birth plan and all of that. Let's talk about your role as a mom when you're thinking about self-care, because I wonder how you were brought up. Because for me, I remember my mom always saying to me that the woman carries the brunt of the work. Like, even if you have a great husband, father, etc., you're still going to be the one who does a lot that has to do with the rearing of the children. You're going to be the main one. And so I wonder, did you have that sort of philosophy or expectation uh, in your life? And how do you care for yourself still as a mom and as a business owner? Because I think a lot of women feel that it's challenging to do both. And how's it been for you?
yeah, so that's a great question. Well, first of all, my oldest child is 36, and I had him when I was 16. And I was a single mom. I went to college with him. He went to college with me. I graduated with my nursing degree, started working, and it was all on me. Like, I was his primary caretaker. I did all the things. And and then in my current life, I feel like I have a before Christ and after Christ life. But anyway, uh, but in my current world, when I decided to have kids again with my husband, my oldest was like 20. Like, I was literally starting all over. And I left my nursing career and I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I wanted the picket fence, all the things. And so I, but I knew, I tried not to work. And I mean, it was so terrible. Like, not working was like, oh my, like, I totally lost myself trying not to work. And I knew I needed something. So I started a photography business. And I had a photography business for about, I don't, 6 years, seven, I don't even remember. Um, but I wanted something that I could do, that for me, that I wanted to be selfish. Like, this is mine, and I'm going to take care of my kids, and I'm going to be a wife I want to be. Um, I One of the things that changed about me is my husband is so stinking amazing. Like, I mean, I should give him an award for Mother's Day. Like, I mean, because he does as much work as I do. Like, I mean, I have an amazing husband. I mean, y'all, like he is so amazing. And after being a single mom, like I didn't have a problem with sharing the responsibilities. Like no problems, like none. Like I didn't have any problem sharing the responsibilities. Um, I'm trying to make sure I answer your question. Oh, but my husband's job, he worked in college athletics, so he was always gone. Like, but when he was home, he was all on board, but he wasn't as at home as much as I liked. But so it was important to me that I found something that didn't require all my time and that would fit into how I wanted to live my life. And my main role was to be a mom. Like, I mean, and a lot of people think that, okay, well, your main role is to be a wife. Well, in my mind, my main role was to be a mother to my children. My husband was self sufficient. My kids were 100% dependent upon me. And so I really wanted something that would honor the type of mom I wanted to be. Well, I don't want to, I want to, I don't, I didn't say that the way I wanted to say it. I wanted something that would give me the mental resources to be the type of mom I wanted to be.
Hmm.
And I felt like if I went to healthcare, as much as I loved healthcare, I loved it, but I felt like it would divide me because I was so in love with my job and my career that I didn't want to have to debate between, do I need to go to work on this holiday or stay home with my kids? I wanted my kids to be the main thing. I wanted family to be the main thing. So I purposely knew I was going to have an online business. Like that, I knew I need to find something that I could do online. I knew that I had enough experiences in my life that I could bring to the marketplace. I knew I could teach somebody something, you know. And so I was like, I need to take care of me and not be, you know, overwhelmed and stressed and snappy. Like I wanted my home life to feel as peaceful as possible. So how do I need to set up whatever I'm going to do that's going to help me maintain my sanity? Because it's hard. It's hard being a mom. It's hard having kids 20 years apart. And as great as my husband is, it's hard learning to co-parent when you're not, I mean, you want all the help, but you want all the say so. I wanted all the say so. But I had to listen to him. Like I had to give him some buy-in. He would be like, "You can't do." I'm like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm married now. I'm not a single parent anymore." And my husband is so great. Like, you know, so so I had to become another person to 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 actually set up my business to fit into my life, but I also had to become a different person to allow my husband to parent with me because I had been a single mom my whole life. And if you've been a single mama your whole life, can't nobody tell you nothing. Like like you're like, I'm not going to listen to you. Like, what do you know about raising kids? So I had to calm that person down and I had to fight for what I really wanted in my whole life. Like literally fight, like, no, Sherina, this is what you want. We're going to do this. Like, this is type of marriage you want. This is how available you want to be for your kids. This is, you know, your business. Like you want it all. Like literally, I literally wanted it all. Like, and I go back to God wants me happy, so I can have it all. And so I think just having the undertones of it's important to take care of you, like healthcare, like the importance of taking care of you. You've taken care of people at the end of their life, or at the beginning. I worked in labor and delivery. I've birthed babies, but you know what life is about. And through that lens, I mean, because a lot of people don't start life that way, like working in a nursing home or taking care of people. Like, from that lens, how do you want your story to end up? Like, what can you do to set yourself up to try to create prosperity in everything that you want in your life? Like, how can you do that? And
Yeah.
so I intentionally wanted an online business. I intentionally wanted to be the PTA mom, and I've done all the things. Um, like, I wanted to be able to have a business and go to PTA and check out my kids from school. And I even allow my kids to have a free school day. Like, you can just have a mental health day. If you don't want to go to school today, you don't have to. Because I wanted them to see me as still a womb of safety for them.
Mm,
And
I love that.
so, whatever needed to happen for that, including letting my husband do extra work so I can take care of me and make sure I'm a womb for them, like an extension of a womb, that's what I was willing to do. So, um, I really believe that the main thing is you making sure the main thing is taken care of, and that's your peace of mind. And whatever you have to do for that, it is what you have to do, because everything is going to flow from you. Like, you are the mastermind of your life, of your experience of your life. And so, um that has always been the main thing for me, the cord that runs through everything I do, in my business, or even in my life, my marriage, my kids. I'm going to make sure Sherina's good. I am my own business, and my kids, my husband, my clients, they are the beneficiaries, you
Mm.
know. And when I'm at my worst, they're also the beneficiaries. So I want those times to
That's a
be.
good point. Wait, so good. Yeah, they benefit either way. They may not like the benefits on one or the other, but they benefit either way.
Yeah.
I can't believe how fast our time together went. I know that you had a piece that you wanted to share, so I want to make sure that we have time for that. So
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes, yes. I did have a piece I wanted to share, and I cannot believe it's already been. Are you sure?
yeah.
I mean, time time is all about how much fun you're having, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I have this piece I wanted to share, and it's not anything that you haven't heard, I'm sure, but I just think it's good to come back to it. It sort of reminds me of, like, it's sort of like putting some lotion on ashy knees or something. So anyway, all right, so here it is. It's a quote, and I always thought it came from Maya Angelou, but I think it's from Theodore Roosevelt. But anyway, people don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care about them. And so, I love that, because, again, as I mentioned at the top of the hour, I care about the humans. Like, it's all about the humans for me. And everything that we're ever going to create in our life is going to come through another human. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if we're at Target, at Walmart, at Kentucky Fried Chicken, at the Ritz Carlton. It doesn't matter. There's going to be another human, unless artificial intelligence takes us all out. But hopefully, it's going to be a human being, and it's important to bring who we really are to that moment of engagement for whatever the situation is. So, but anyway, I appreciate you so much, and
I
I'm just so
appreciate you.
wonderful
I
we
could
did
literally
this.
just easily talk to you for another hour. It goes by so quickly. But that's how we do, though, isn't
That's
it?
how we do. We're the self-care queens, and we practice it with our girlfriendship.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Sherina. It was great to have you on the show. We definitely have to have you back in the future to finish up more of this self-care conversation.
Awesome. Thank you.